In a world obsessed with dominance hierarchies and social status, we've been conditioned to recognize two primary male archetypes: the alpha, who commands attention through sheer force of presence, and the beta, who finds comfort in the safety of the pack. But hidden in plain sight exists a third, far more formidable type, one that defies conventional social structures while quietly outperforming them all. This is the Sigma male, the human equivalent of a shadow in motion, visible only when he chooses to be, leaving his mark without ever needing to announce himself. Unlike the alpha who needs followers or the beta who needs leaders, the Sigma answers to an internal compass so finely tuned that external validation becomes irrelevant. He moves through life like a ghost in the machine, observing, calculating, and engaging only when it serves his purpose. While others waste energy jockeying for position, the Sigma has already bypassed the game entirely, operating on a level most don't even realize exists. His power doesn't come from controlling others, but from his complete mastery of self. He's the man who speaks sparingly yet lands every word with precision, who walks into a room unnoticed but leaves it changed, who cultivates mystery not as a tactic, but as a natural byproduct of his independence. What makes the Sigma male truly extraordinary isn't just what he does, it's what he doesn't do. He doesn't posture. He doesn't seek permission. He doesn't conform to timelines, expectations, or arbitrary rules unless they align with his mission. In an era of manufactured personalities and curated social media personas, the Sigma represents something increasingly rare: authentic power, the kind that can't be faked, bought, or learned through pickup artist tricks. It's earned through relentless self-honesty, a willingness to stand alone, and the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly what he's capable of. This is why Sigmas consistently outperform their peers without appearing to try. They're the CEOs who skip the networking events but land the biggest deals, the artists who vanish for years only to return with masterpieces, the thinkers whose ideas reshape industries while they themselves remain enigmas. Their greatest strength? Understanding that true influence doesn't come from being the loudest in the room, but from being the only one who truly understands the room. In this video, we'll break down the 8 unmistakable signs of a Sigma male, behavioral fingerprints that reveal why this rare breed operates differently from, and often outmaneuvers, every other personality type. Whether you're spotting one in your inner circle or recognizing these traits in yourself, what follows isn't just personality analysis, it's a blueprint for a different way to wield power in an attention-starved world. The Sigma doesn't follow the rules. He doesn't break them. He rewrites them entirely, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly how. Number 1, they observe the room first. Walk into any social gathering and you'll immediately spot two types of people: those performing for attention, and the Sigma male, the human equivalent of a thermal scanner quietly mapping the emotional landscape. While others rush to insert themselves into conversations or broadcast their presence, the Sigma assumes the role of a social cartographer. Positioned strategically at the periphery, often with a drink in hand and an expression of calm detachment, he's not just standing there, he's conducting a sophisticated analysis of human dynamics. His observational process is both scientific and artistic. He notes power structures, who's seeking validation from whom, which alliances are genuine versus performative. He detects subtle status plays, the forced laughter at a superior's joke, the slight tension between two people pretending to get along. He identifies the isolated individuals who, like him, don't quite fit the herd mentality. All this information gets processed through a mental algorithm that answers one crucial question: is there anything here worth my energy? This isn't antisocial behavior, it's social efficiency. The Sigma male understands that most group interactions follow predictable, often meaningless patterns. The same stories get retold, the same jokes get recycled, the same social masks get polished and presented. Why participate in this theater unless there's authentic connection or valuable exchange to be had? When he does engage, it's with purpose, perhaps to draw out an interesting stranger, to subtly influence a decision, or to extract useful information. And when he doesn't, his withdrawal isn't shyness, but the conscious choice of a man who refuses to spend his limited social currency on counterfeit interactions. What makes this trait particularly powerful is how it flips conventional charisma on its head. While extroverts exhaust themselves trying to be everywhere at once, the Sigma's selective presence makes each appearance more impactful. People notice when someone who's been observing finally chooses to participate. Conversations shift when the quiet man in the corner decides to speak. In a world drowning in noise, the Sigma's silence becomes his loudest statement, and his observation, his sharpest weapon. Number 2, they're only vocal when it counts. In a world where constant chatter is mistaken for confidence and empty words are exchanged like currency, the Sigma male stands apart through his disciplined silence. Where others feel compelled to fill every pause with nervous banter or mindless small talk, the Sigma understands that true communication isn't measured in words spoken, but in impact created. His quiet demeanor isn't a sign of social awkwardness, it's the mark of a man who respects the weight of language too much to waste it. This calculated approach to conversation stems from a deeper philosophical stance, that most dialogue is performative rather than substantive. While the average person talks to be heard, the Sigma speaks to be understood. He listens with the intensity of a strategist, processing not just what is said, but what is left unsaid, the pauses between words, the subtle shifts in tone, the unspoken assumptions lurking beneath surface-level exchanges. When he finally chooses to contribute, his words land with the precision of a master archer hitting a distant target. It might be a single question that unravels an entire argument, a concise observation that reframes a discussion, or a quiet remark that lingers in people's minds long after the conversation ends. The power of this approach is twofold. First, it creates an aura of mystery. People instinctively pay attention when someone who normally stays quiet decides to speak. Second, it ensures that when he does engage, his words carry disproportionate influence. In boardrooms, social gatherings, or intimate conversations, this selective vocalism becomes a superpower. Colleagues learn to lean in when he talks. Friends value his rare advice more than others' constant opinions. Romantic partners hang on his few but meaningful compliments. The Sigma male doesn't need to dominate conversations to control them, he simply waits for the right moment to change their trajectory entirely. Number 3, the impenetrable fortress, why Sigma males remain eternal enigmas. In an era where people broadcast their breakfast choices to strangers and monetize their personal traumas, the Sigma male stands as a living paradox, present yet unknowable, engaged yet detached. You might work beside him for a decade, share countless meetings, even consider him a friend, yet realize you couldn't name his hometown or identify a single family member. This isn't social dysfunction, but rather a masterclass in boundary architecture. The Sigma's personal opacity serves multiple strategic purposes. First, it creates a psychological advantage, mystery breeds fascination, and fascination commands attention. By revealing only what serves his objectives, he maintains control over how others perceive and interact with him. Second, it functions as an energy conservation system. Every personal detail shared becomes potential ammunition for office politics or social maneuvering. The Sigma understands that in professional and social arenas, information isn't just currency, it's vulnerability. But this guardedness isn't the cold detachment of a sociopath. The Sigma will gladly discuss ideas, theories, and objective realities with startling depth. He simply draws an impermeable boundary between the personal and the universal. Ask about his childhood and you'll get a thoughtful analysis of generational trends instead. Inquire about his weekend plans and he'll pivot to discussing urban design principles behind great cities. This redirection isn't evasion, it's the recalibration of a mind that finds the personal trivial compared to broader patterns and systems. The irony is that this very inscrutability often makes Sigmas more influential than their oversharing counterparts. Like a blank canvas onto which others project their ideal image, the Sigma becomes whatever people need him to be, the wise mentor, the reliable colleague, the mysterious stranger, all while maintaining his essential, untouchable core. In a world where transparency is mistaken for authenticity, the Sigma proves that true power often resides in what remains unseen and unsaid. Number 4, the purposeful stride, why Sigma males move like men on a mission. The Sigma male's walking pace isn't just a physical characteristic, it's a philosophical statement written in motion. Where most people amble through life at the speed of the crowd, the Sigma cuts through spaces with the precision of a heat-seeking missile locked onto its target. This isn't nervous energy or impatience, but rather the external manifestation of an internal operating system that rejects wasted movement in all its forms. Scientific research supports what instinct already tells us about these rapid walkers. The landmark Duke University study revealing faster walkers possess higher IQs merely quantifies what the Sigma has always known, that physical movement and mental velocity are intimately connected. His brisk pace reflects a mind that's constantly 5 steps ahead, processing multiple streams of information while others are still reacting to their immediate surroundings. Watch how he navigates urban landscapes, anticipating pedestrian flows before they form, timing his movements to subway doors, instinctively choosing the most efficient path through a crowded terminal. These aren't conscious calculations, but the natural behaviors of a brain wired for maximum efficiency. But the deeper significance lies in what this movement pattern reveals about his worldview. The Sigma walks with purpose because he lives with purpose. Every unnecessary detour, every minute lost to hesitation represents a small theft from his most precious resource, time itself. His stride communicates that he's not a man who tolerates obstacles. He either removes them or flows around them with minimal friction. This physical discipline mirrors his approach to life's larger journey. While others get distracted by side streets and scenic routes, the Sigma maintains unwavering focus on his true north. Number 5, the chronological rebel. Why Sigma males rewrite the rules of time. While the world sleeps, the Sigma male is often at his most alive, bathed in the blue glow of a computer screen or immersed in some esoteric project that demands uninterrupted focus. His daily rhythm follows not societal expectations, but the natural ebb and flow of his creative and intellectual energies. The 9 to 5 schedule isn't just inconvenient to him, it's an arbitrary construct that fails to account for when his mind actually functions at peak capacity. These unconventional routines aren't affectations, but carefully engineered systems for maximum productivity and mental clarity. The Sigma has conducted years of self-experimentation, noting exactly when his analytical abilities sharpen, when his creativity peaks, and when he needs complete solitude to process complex ideas. He might take his morning walk at midnight because that's when the empty streets help him think clearly. His most important work might happen between 2 o'clock and 5 a.m., when the world's distractions fade into silence. Meals become fuel stops rather than social rituals, consumed when his body signals need rather than when the clock dictates. What outsiders perceive as eccentricity is actually rigorous time optimization. The Sigma understands that most people waste hours conforming to schedules that contradict their biological wiring. By designing his own temporal architecture, he gains a competitive edge. While others fight afternoon drowsiness, he's operating in his personal prime time. This temporal independence extends beyond daily habits. He approaches life milestones with similar nonconformity, rejecting the predetermined timeline for careers, relationships, or achievements. The result? A life that unfolds according to his unique potential rather than societal expectations, one where true productivity is measured in output rather than hours logged. Number 6, the social chameleon. How Sigma males master the art of selective connection. The Sigma male moves through social environments with the adaptability of a cultural anthropologist studying foreign tribes. His ability to engage with diverse groups, from corporate executives to underground artists, isn't a performance of conformity, but rather the manifestation of a genuinely omnivorous intellect. Unlike social climbers who shapeshift to gain approval, the Sigma's versatility springs from deep curiosity about human subcultures and systems of thought. He carries within him a mental library of conversational frameworks, able to discuss sports analytics with athletes, color theory with painters, or market trends with investors, not because he's memorized talking points, but because he's actually engaged with these subjects on a fundamental level. This social fluidity masks an ironclad set of boundaries. The Sigma operates on a strict economy of attention, approaching interactions like a savvy investor allocating precious resources. Initial conversations serve as subtle audits. He's assessing whether the other party operates with intellectual honesty and basic human respect. The moment he detects manipulation, pretentiousness, or malice, he activates an elegant disengagement protocol. There's no dramatic exit or confrontation. He simply ceases to invest energy in that connection. This creates a fascinating paradox. The man who can seemingly talk to anyone actually speaks with very few at a meaningful level. Those who earn genuine engagement find an unexpectedly generous conversationalist, one who shares penetrating insights normally reserved for his private contemplation. Number 7, the anti-panic protocol. Sigma males in crisis situations. When systems fail and chaos erupts, the Sigma male undergoes a transformation, not into a louder version of himself, but into a hyper-focused problem-solving machine. His crisis response demonstrates the core Sigma philosophy: emotion should inform action, not replace it. As others descend into blamestorming or panic speculation, the Sigma's mental processes become unervingly linear. His first question, "What's our next step?" immediately redirects energy from unproductive venting to solution generation. This operational calm stems from years of mental conditioning. The Sigma has pre-visualized countless disaster scenarios, not out of paranoia, but as cognitive training. When real crises hit, he's running through pre-established mental checklists, assessing damage, identifying leverage points, calculating risk-reward ratios. His movements become economical, his speech terse yet precise. You'll never catch him in the center of a panic huddle. He's already examining the problem from multiple angles, often spotting overlooked variables or unconventional solutions. What makes this approach particularly effective is its contagious nature. In group emergencies, the Sigma's calm creates a gravitational pull. Without demanding leadership, he becomes the de facto stabilizing force. His lack of emotional theatrics doesn't indicate detachment, but rather an understanding that clear thinking is the most valuable commodity in any crisis. This explains why Sigmas often find themselves thrust into leadership roles they never sought. Their ability to navigate chaos reveals a competence that inspires natural followership. While others remember the crisis for its drama, the Sigma remembers it for the solution path he engineered through the noise. The Sigma's crisis methodology offers a masterclass in pressure management, emotion channeled into action, panic converted into process, and every problem reduced to its solvable components. In a world where most people add to the chaos, the Sigma becomes the calm within it, not through superhuman control, but through practiced understanding that breakdowns are simply systems waiting to be rebuilt. Number 8. The Art of Strategic Refusal, How Sigma Males Master the Power of No. In a society that equates agreeability with likability, the Sigma male's frequent use of no serves as both a shield and a strategic weapon. This isn't the petulant rejection of a contrarian, but rather the calculated boundary setting of someone who understands the true cost of compliance. Where most people hemorrhage time and energy through reflexive yes, fearing social repercussions or craving validation, the Sigma treats each commitment request as a cost-benefit analysis. His declinations follow an internal algorithm that weighs the request's value against his current priorities, energy reserves, and long-term objectives. The Sigma's refusal mechanism operates with surgical precision. He doesn't offer elaborate excuses or false promises of future availability, just a polite but unambiguous denial that leaves no room for negotiation. This might manifest as turning down a networking event that would yield no meaningful connections, refusing to participate in office gossip disguised as team bonding, or rejecting projects that don't align with his core competencies. What makes this behavior revolutionary isn't the act of refusal itself, but the complete absence of guilt accompanying it. The Sigma understands that every unnecessary yes given to others is a no to his own priorities, an equation most people lack the courage to balance. This disciplined approach to commitment creates a paradoxical result. By saying no more often, the Sigma actually increases the perceived value of his occasional yes. When he does commit, people recognize it as genuine rather than obligatory. His selective participation breeds respect rather than resentment, as colleagues and friends come to understand that his involvement always carries substance. In a world drowning in overcommitment, the Sigma's refusal habit becomes his most powerful tool for maintaining exceptional standards in all he chooses to undertake. Conclusion: the Sigma male paradox, why the quietest man in the room holds the most power. In a world that mistakes volume for value and visibility for virtue, the Sigma male represents a living contradiction, the ultimate proof that true influence operates in whispers rather than shouts. Identifying a Sigma isn't a matter of spotting obvious markers, but of noticing subtle disruptions in the social fabric, the conversation that suddenly shifts direction after his one-pointed observation, the crisis that stabilizes when he quietly takes the reins, the strange gravitational pull he exerts without ever demanding center stage. These men move through life as human paradoxes, simultaneously present and detached, approachable yet unknowable, flexible in method but unshakable in principle. Their power stems not from controlling others, but from their absolute command of self. While alpha personalities exhaust themselves maintaining dominance hierarchies and beta types anxiously seek their place within them, the Sigma exists in a category of one, a self-contained ecosystem of purpose, discipline, and quiet competence. The Sigma's traits form an interlocking system of personal sovereignty. His selective speech demonstrates that words gain power through scarcity. His observational prowess turns passive watching into active strategy. His unconventional rhythms prove productivity follows personal biology, not corporate schedules. His impenetrable privacy transforms mystery into unspoken authority. His strategic refusals make each yes carry exponential value. His crisis composure reveals that real leadership needs no title. What makes the Sigma male increasingly relevant in our distracted age is his counterintuitive approach to power. Where modern culture equates success with constant visibility and personal branding, the Sigma proves that true impact often comes from selective engagement and silent execution. He understands that in an attention economy, the most valuable currency is the ability to focus, and that in a world of noise, the quietest voice often carries furthest. To recognize a Sigma is to witness a masterclass in nonconformist excellence. He's not rebelling against systems for rebellion's sake, he's simply operating on a higher level of awareness, one where social expectations pale against personal standards. The Sigma male doesn't just march to his own drumbeat, he's composing an entirely different symphony, one that reveals its depth only to those patient enough to truly listen. In the end, the Sigma's greatest lesson isn't about male archetypes at all, it's about the universal power of self-possession. He embodies the truth that real freedom comes not from controlling others, but from mastering oneself, not from loud declarations, but from quiet demonstrations of competence. In an era of performative personalities, the Sigma male remains refreshingly, powerfully real, and that authenticity, more than any show of force, is what makes him impossible to ignore. Thank you for watching.